Hi there, this is video 319, and this is where we're getting into the application. We're talking about 2 sets at a time. Eventually, we're going to get to the point where we have 3 sets at a time, but we're going to practice with 2. So if we know there's going to be 2 sets, just in general, our diagram is probably going to look like this. Or let me rephrase that. That's where I start all the time. Every once in a while, there's going to be a time where this isn't the right picture, but probably 95% of the time it is. And it's a good place to start. So the box is going to be your universal set, but it's going to be the total number of whatever it is. This subset is going to have some characteristics. This is going to have a different set of characteristics. And you know about that. That's the intersection. So that part's going to have both, whatever the 2 characteristics are. The background of the box is going to have neither set. And like I said, this is going to have one characteristic, this is going to have the other. Don't worry. Don't worry. It's not as scary as it seems. Okay, so let's just dive in here. In a class of 50 students, each of the students passed either math or science or both. 10 students passed in both and 28 passed in science. Draw a Venn diagram to show this information. Okay, so I'm going to start with that picture. And we're going to label it. All right, so let's just go through this. Class of 50 students. Okay, so this is my total. I should have left myself more room. But I do that. So that means when I add up all the numbers in this picture, it has to add to 50. Okay. So that's what happens to that now. We need to label our 2 circles. So what's the question about? Okay. Each of the students passed either mathematics or science or both. So I'm going to call this the math. People have passed math. And this is the ones that pass science. Okay. So now we've got, and remember, the center intersection or the overlap is the ones that do both. And that's where our numbers come from. So 10 students pass both. And I'll give you a heads up. Anytime that they give you the number for the intersection, the rest of the question becomes a lot simpler. All right, now this says 28 pass science. Now here's the first trick. We put that out here because there are 28 in this entire circle. But how many have I already counted? Yes, there's already 10 that have been counted already. So I'm going to just go with a little math here. So there's going to be 18 that passed science only, 10 that passed both. But if we stop now, it's not going to work, right? Because there's supposed to be 50 students altogether. So I'm going to take away the 28 we already have counted in our diagram. Don't judge me. Minus 28 should be 22. All right. So this is my total. These are my science people. So these guys must be, right, this is math. Yeah. And do the same thing. So that means in this circle on this side, there has to be a grand total of 22. But I already counted 10. So 22 minus 10 should give me 12. Now, if I do this right, let's see, 12 plus 10 plus 18. Whoops. That only gives me 40. So something is wrong with my math. But we're out by 10. Well, that must mean that this, forget that part, must be 22. Now let's check math. See, guys, sometimes I even screw these up, but you just double check your work. So we have 22 plus 10 plus 18. All right, so we add these up. That totals the 50 we need. That's good. Now let's see if it passes everything else we need to do. So we just checked that there's 50 students altogether. All right, because we added up the numbers. Now it said 10 students pass both. That's that part, check. And we need 28 that pass science. We need 28 in the science circle. So 10 and 18 is 28. So we're good. So our picture is fine. Sorry about the mistake there. I was going to reshoot the video and I thought, no, I might as well show you what happens when you make a mistake. Because I guess the 10 that I was subtracting for was already counted over there. All right. Now, how many students pass mathematics? Well, we need to count up the people in the mathematics. Change my picture, my number up there. Pass mathematics was 22 plus 10 more. And when you guys do that, if you want, you can just put the 32, that's fine. But I just want to show this so if someone's looking at it later, they'll see where that number came from. How many pass only mathematics? That's going to be 22. So the best I can say with these questions is take your time, double check the numbers at the end. It's not like I can give you at this point a formula that's going to work every single time. Oh, I should mention something else. Often there's a number like that would go in the box here. But this question specifically said each of the students passed either math or science or both. There wasn't anybody that didn't pass either classes, so their numbers will go down there. We'll see this in a minute. All right, so I would suggest, let's take a look at this one. Whoops, typo. All right, population of a town is 10,000. Out of these, 5,400 persons read newspaper A, and 4,700 read newspaper B, and 1,500 read both newspapers. Show this in that diagram. So one of the things I like to do before I start is, I know this is my grand total. So all of the numbers in my diagram have to add up to 10,000. And I can already see that if I add 4,754 in this one, right, that's going to be more than 10,000. So some people obviously are being counted twice. All right, how about pause the video and get your diagram done. Okay. So let's see. This is a nice question because right here, I'm always looking for the ones that are in the intersection because usually that makes life easier if we know that. We know there's 1,500 that go here. Now, out of these, 5,400 read newspaper A. So we know in this A circle, there has to be a grand total of 5,400. Because if I put 5,400 here, then it gets messed up, right? Because then you'd have to add that on. All right. So there's 3,900 people that read only A and 1,500 that read A and B. Okay. And I knew I had to subtract because that 54 is the total, 5,400 is the total for this circle. And I'd already counted these guys. So what I want you to do is figure out how many only read B. What do you got? We have 4,700 that read B. So I'm going to put 4,700 here minus, we already counted 1,500 of them. That leaves me 3,200. Now let's check our math. These three should add up to maybe 10,000. Let's see. 900 plus 1,500 plus 3,200. Okay. So we are, whoops, can't see that. I added them up and I got 8,600. Now, got to figure out if we screwed up or not. Let me just write that down. Now, our grand total was supposed to be 10,000. But here's the hint in the question. Oh, you can't even see it in the video. See this part? It asks how many people didn't read either of the newspapers. So that's a hint that there's some people that didn't. So that's why this didn't total up to 10,000. So now if we go 10,000 minus 8,600, so 1,400 didn't read either one. Only newspaper B. Okay, so that'd be these guys, 3,200. And only A, 3,900. Don't want to mess up. So let's just check. Because when I'm done, these numbers, A only, both, B only, and neither. When I add those up, they should add to 10,000. And there we go. So the question is basically done. I just want to have this to be a little more organized. of 8,600 people read a paper of some sort. And then we went the total minus paper. And that's where the negative 1,400 comes from. So sometimes what you want to do is take a look at the question. So in this one, once I said this, I knew there had to be a number down here. But when we did the first question, okay, when it said each of the students passed either science or math, science, or both, I knew everybody had to be at the circles, and I knew there wasn't going to be anybody out in this area. So like there's 0 people that didn't pass at least one of those classes. Take your time. Like I said, if you know the intersection, usually these are going to be simpler. All right, that is the end of video 3.19. Have a lovely day.